Another week, boys, and another TWAB. This week at Bungie. Yeah, you read that right. As we mentioned a couple weeks ago, we are fully leaning into this becoming a Destiny-centric space going forward. More on that in a bit. Before we jump into it, let's recap the contents of the previous week. Ghosts of the Deep rundown. Bungie Rewards got new dungeon-themed merch. Did you get your Marathon Emblem? You got new Prime game loots. And here's what we have for the first TWID ever. Because it's now this week at Destiny, not this week at Bungie. A new name for the TWAB. Ready for a new community fashion contest. Grandmasters will be back on June 13th, which is next week. And Supremacy 2. You all owe Kalli an apology. Preview of some 7.1.0.2 fixes. Collaboration art. And the usual player support reports. And our Art of the Week, Movie of the Week picks. Now, rebranding the TWAB. For as long as anyone can remember, there's been a weekly check-in between Bungie and our community. Back in February of 2016, we rebranded the Bungie Weekly Update to This Week at Bungie. This was done primarily because at the time, there was a lot of confusion when a live game put something out with the name Update and there weren't patch notes to read. Fast forward to today, and it's time once again to evolve the name of our weekly ritual. Don't fret, our weekly check-in for Destiny news and community highlights will continue. The main change here is that we will be keeping things Destiny specific, so we need a name that reflects that since Bungie has now publicly announced a new game. Starting today, the weekly Destiny blog will be named This Week in Destiny. As you may have noticed already, each week's blog post will be announced on official Destiny social channels rather than on Bungie's channels, and we'll continue to drop the occasional standalone blog with in-depth details and insights from the dev team. Now that you know the new name and the reasoning behind it, you can do what you do best, Destiny community, meme away. But first, please join us in bidding farewell to the TWAB and welcoming the TWID. The TWID. How do we feel about it? I don't know, man. We've been saying TWAB for so long. TWAB. Hey, have you tuned in for the TWID this week? Yo, the TWID was popping. Not like we could change this. It's just not hitting it. If you're wondering why Bungie is making this change, guys, it's so that when they move us to Marathon, you're gonna have a This Week at Marathon, and then a This Week at Destiny, a This Week at mobile game, whatever the hell they're making. If they said This Week at Bungie, it would be, you know, I guess it would be confusing, and it would show favoritism if it was just, you know what I mean, at Destiny. They don't want to merge the two things together. TWID it is. TWID is where we're at, guys. It's now the TWID. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I hate it. I hate the acronym. All right. Put on your best dress. Fashion is the ultimate true end game. Matching the perfect textures, forms, and colors to express the right ideas is not easy. So we want to reward those who succeed in such endeavors. Given that Season of the Deep is all about how the scariest floors of the sea can be the most beautiful, how Guardians are good at killing gods, but better at catching exotic fishes, and how even the most dangerous warmonger can break down a bit when recalling simpler times. Well, why not celebrate all that complexity with a good community fashion contest? We know you can express what Season of the Deep is all about with just 5 pieces of armor. Don your drippiest designs and try out the most combinations, and of course, let us know with the hashtag #DrownInTheDrip hashtag for a chance to earn your very new and exclusive Preya Porter fashion emblem. You have until June 15th, so get to work. Look at there, new emblem. I'm not big on the fashion stuff, but if you are, guys, I actually think the more hideous your character looks, the more fear you impose on the enemy. Ready for some early Grandmaster Nightfalls? As we mentioned in our Reflecting on Nightfall article, Grandmaster Nightfalls will be available a bit earlier than usual during Season of the Deep. The reason for this is simple. Without the seasonal power climb, and with the requirement level change we added during Season 19, we believe we can successfully launch them earlier. Grandmasters are coming on week 4, and that means you'll have a chance to earn exotic materials and adept weapons starting next Tuesday, June 13th. Note that this is only for weekly Grandmasters. The Conqueror Gilding node is still planned to open in week 7. So get ready to face the Lightblade if you're aiming to get the adept version of the Wendigo GL3 heavy grenade launcher next week. And in case you're wondering, the Loaded Question fusion rifle and the Braytech Osprey rocket launcher will be featured in the following 2 weeks. All right, so opening week is not bringing us anything new. You know what I would love to read, Bungie, on this one? A little small note here. Grandmaster Nightfalls will also now be dropping Ascended Alloys. I would endorse TWIDs right now if Ascended Alloys are given to us in GMs. Now, Supremacy enters the Relentless Rotator. For those of you who got a taste of Supremacy during Guardian games and wanted more, congratulations. Supremacy will be added to the Relentless Rotator and the Crucible starting next week. This Crucible game mode requires you to collect the crests dropped by the enemies you take down to score for your team, while you also deny the enemy their points by picking up crests from fallen allies. Show everyone who's in charge here and secure each kill. While you earn ranks, you might even get that renewed Randy's throwing knife kinetic scout rifle that Shax has brought back into the loot pool. Keep an eye on that cascade point or box breathing for this one. Trust me. Yeah, we actually have a review going on it soon. It's quite nasty. Now, you owe Kalli an apology. People, we need to talk. Why? What did she ever do to you? What's your problem with murderous Taken Techians? We know that Supremacy got rewound rounds and Techian Force has a sick PvP role, and that reconstruction and bait and switch make Apex Predator a top tier option for DPS, but that's no reason to put Kalli into such a situation. A lot of you stepped into every play to get double rewards, while others just cursed their aim over how many golden gun or super simulant shots they miss. Either way, the outcome would be the same. A lot of good loots. We hope you consider it time well spent, because I do. Yeah, I think we all took advantage of that. Well, the Bungie's literally acknowledging that they also farmed for it. Now, some fixes coming next week. In Destiny 2 update 7.1.0.2 will be deployed on June the 13th. Although we'll have our usual patch notes available the moment it's available, we wanted to give you a preview of some of the implemented fixes. First, a reminder that the extra award awarded by the weekly Last Wish quest, the one handed by Hawthorne, was not intentional, so it's going away. Guys, if you remember that, you essentially got double red borders when turning in your Hawthorne quest. Starting Tuesday, you'll get one deep sight weapon from it, since that was always the plan. You'll still earn at least another one every week, because the final chest after dumping Riven's Heart gives one per week an account. But you'll still have a few days until the fix is implemented. So if you want that extra reward, go for it. Now for a few exotic fixes. This update will re-enable the Vesper of Radius, since it won't have such explosive behavior with certain weapons anymore. Some racers will also have their increased duration of solar grenades restored, and after Salin had a very long conversation with Kepri's Horn, the strange interactions that this Titan exotic element allowed have been fixed, so it will be re-enabled. I hate that we didn't actually get the jump in on that, but if y'all saw, y'all probably seen some of the clips. Kepri's and Strand on Titans would essentially like cause like immediate mercies in control games inside of Iron Banana. So I wish we were playing Diablo. I wish we would have got in on that. But Vesper Radius is going to be back. Also, some bracers, it's going to be back. So, and it's just in time for GMs, right? Finally, to name a few other fixes coming, we also have one for the issue that allows certain grenades to go through barricades and Ward of Dawn. We are toning down the new Collective Obligation perk in PvP, 10% damage buff instead of a 20% damage buff, and we are giving the new Mercurial Overreach competitive sniper rifle a bigger reticle when scoping, so it's easier to use. Thank God. That reticle is way too small, but Collective Obligation is getting a PvP nerf? Who the hell was using Collective? It was 2-tapping? Oh my God, we got to get in on that. It's 2-tapping right now? The perk, not the gun. I know what it's talking about. I know it's not the gun itself. Guys, I'm reading the same patch notes. I know it's the perk. Still, you still have to activate the shit. Oh. Ah. Collective Obligation. They're talking about collective action, which is the perk. I thought they were talking about the weakening perk, the leech perk on collective obligation that they were nerfing. Yeah, we did make a video about collective action. So that's a typo. What do y'all think? I'm clairvoyant? Like I'm supposed to know what they're talking about right here? That's why we don't do this shit live. This TWID is a nail. Absolutely. The rest of the patch notes for 7.1.0.2 updates will be available on June the 13th. Keep that art coming. All right, we have some art stuff. Yes, sexy, beautiful Trials of Osiris emblem. The dazzling Iridescence Trials emblem was meant to be rewarded to the best of the best. Those who could go flawless while earning a Flight of the Pigeon medal, lead and score for the entire game, and every win along the way. Ultimately, an issue caused this emblem to be awarded to anyone who made it to the lighthouse at all, which while still a challenging endeavor, made seeing the emblem a little more common than we had hoped. In this upcoming patch, we will have a fix for this, which is twofold. Starting with week 4's trials, June the 16th, the emblem will no longer drop from the flawless chest for those who have not achieved the requirement on their way to the lighthouse. Those who already have the emblem, meaning those players who went flawless in week 1 or who go flawless in this upcoming weekend, will be able to retain the emblem in their collections, but will not be able to equip the emblem unless they complete the requirements after the patch has gone live. Wow. Wow. We understand in some cases this will mean that people who rightfully earned the emblem must re-earn it a second time if they want to equip it, but we felt that this was a necessary step to retain the original intent of the emblem. Gotta get good twice. Advanced focusing. Due to an issue causing exotic focusing to not grant intended rewards, we have temporarily disabled advanced decryption focusing. Precision decryption focusing will continue to be available as we investigate. This whole exotic focusing thing, man, has really been causing a lot of problems. Now, Eververse interface. Some UI pricing elements in Eververse will be disabled with the release of 7.1.0.2. Note that the displayed price is the correct one. Now, known issues. Due to an issue, Capri's Horn Exotic Titan Helmet has been temporarily disabled. Yeah. Helmet Saint 14 Exotic Titan Helmet is not functioning as expected. Interesting. What's going on with that one? Somebody let me know in the comments. Players can get stuck outside the final boss arena after self-reviving the Ghost of the Deep dungeon. Spending salvage keys after a salvage activity is not providing progress toward the spin salvage keys triumph and instead progressing the spin deep dive keys triumph. I'm also being told that Saint 14's helmet was not blinding. Okay, yeah, that's a huge reason why you would use that. The Bump in the Night weapon pattern triumph requires the Season 17 season pass. Okay. The standard fair bounty does not gain progress on kinetic weapon kills. The Warlock Courtier long coat chest ornament has a gap beneath the right arm. The Verity's Brow perk, the 4th magic, is not functioning correctly in PvP. And the new Pacifica Epita grenade launcher is doing less damage than intended to stasis crystals. Outside of that, guys, that is your TWAB. Those are your movie of the week. So hold on. Another week that goes by, and it's almost summer around here, or winter for those of you in the southern hemisphere. We are deep into the season of the deep, and there's still much to uncover from under the methane seas. Methane, what a thing, by the way. I checked the other day, and liquid methane has a temperature range between 91 and 112 kelvins, which makes me think those new Guardians armor sets not only look amazing, but also have some pretty insane heating systems. And speaking of heat, how can solar grenades scorch stuff under such extreme circumstances? Or stasis crystals even hold a structure under such pressure? Anyway, transmat firing, hasta luego, BR1. We don't need scientific logic in our video game. How do we float? How do we have gravity during the Deep Stone Crypt on the space station mission, or the space station portion? Who cares? Who cares? Space magic. All right, guys, that's your TWID. This is kind of a sad day for me. I would say our channel, one of the first things we started doing when Destiny was almost about to die was covering the TWAB. I want to say as early as the beginning of, and we've been calling it a TWAB, and we've had our opening for a long time. We're gonna have to change things up, and I guess it's now the TWID. In the future, when Marathon rolls out, it's gonna be the TWIM, something like that. I kind of wish we would have like a memorial last week for, if I knew last week was going to be the last TWAB, but the TWAB is now dead, guys. You'll never get another TWAB again. It is TWID here on out.
Slap that like button like your mama told you right.